Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to your weekly collective energy update. I'm Sharna Langlais. I'm a Reiki Master, Energy Healer, and Intuitive Guide. And I'm here to bring you grounded, heart-centered guidance for your spiritual awakening journey. Welcome back if you've been watching my videos. Thank you so much to those of you who have subscribed to the channel. It really means so much to me. And if you hadn't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as it truly helps support this work. With over 20 years of experience, I help clients around the world uncover the root of emotional, physical, and spiritual blockages. And each week I tune into the collective energy. So I'm here to bring you insights and energetic guidance so you can navigate this sometimes confusing path. If this space resonates for you, be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and like this video so you never miss new tools, teachings, and guided practices to support your healing journey. So let's take a deep breath, open your heart, and begin. So there have been some really intense energies this past week. And one of the primary components that I've been noticing through clients and even myself alike is a sense of confusion. And confusion is not a pleasant experience in our human world. We live in a society that's very focused on wanting things to be clear. We want that clear cut sense of where am I going? What am I doing? We want that clear yes, that clear no. And some of this is because we do live in a very masculine leaning society. A lot of the work that I do with my clients, with my students, and that I'll be sharing with you all here on this channel is about finding balance. And because we do tend to lean toward a very action-oriented, right brain, logical type of living in this world, we forget that feminine side, which is about the mystery. It's about the chaos. It's about our emotional space, our feeling, and also simply our being. When we confront confusion, one of the most challenging things that we do that really doesn't work is we try to figure it out. Confusion is a sign that we are moving into growth. So I frequently say, celebrate your confusion as it means that something is shifting and changing. An old part of yourself is colliding with a new part of yourself, and they are creating this conflict. We also call this cognitive dissonance, when two parts of the brain are in conflict with one another. And this is what actually creates confusion. This means actually that you're growing, you're learning, you're shifting, you're changing. It's really hard to celebrate the confusion. I tell people to do it a lot. I forget to do it myself all the time, because clarity by and large feels a lot better to us. And yet, when we're connected in with the natural rhythms of the world, there's a lot of confusion in nature. If you look at the way things evolve and shift and change, it is a confusing world to be here, especially if we're living, in this third dimensional reality, which regardless of if you're up in 4D and 5D and higher planes, we are still embodied in physical incarnations, right? And so because of that, we're learning to dance with confusion becomes really important. One of the things I've also been seeing around this theme of confusion is conflicting viewpoints. What happens when people come into our space that don't agree with us, that have a whole different view of the way they see the world, how they live, what they believe is happening, and we're over here in our wonderful echo chamber space, which we live in so much because of social media. And we are struggling then to come up against somebody or something that believes something different than we do. A lot of times that creates some really deep inner conflict, and we get very defensive. We become very, guarded of our own opinions, and we almost want to defend and protect our way of seeing the world and our way of looking at things. And yet, when confusion and conflict comes in, it really is one of the purest opportunities for growth. One of the insights that I'm going to share with you is when I share probably in almost all of these energy update videos, which is to practice the pause. If we can simply take a step back and look at what is happening. Really witness it. Use that witness observer mode. See if it's possible to detach ourselves emotionally from the experience, not because we're bypassing the emotions, but because we're just trying to watch them actually. We're giving them full reign to have space, but we're not trying to tamp them down, and we're not trying to control the situation. Another insight I might share is to try not to see the other person as the enemy. There's a real strong impulse in the way that our brains are built to exclude people that are not like ourselves, to push things out that don't belong within the realm of what we want to be the truth. And so when we can take a more neutral stance and actually say that this person's not the enemy, right? They may have a different viewpoint, they may have a different way of moving in the world. Maybe it's even something that doesn't resonate with me and I don't like it, and no thank you, I'm going to remove myself from the situation. But we can release the sense of what we would call a value judgment. Value judgments means that we're saying that something is right or something is wrong, right? There is a value associated with somebody's differentness, with conflict, or with confusion. And instead, we step back and say, well, this person isn't right or wrong. Perhaps they're just not resonant for me. They may be dissonant for me. This isn't information that I'm particularly interested in spending time with. Or maybe I can sit with this discomfort for a little bit and see what starts to bubble up and come to the surface. So practicing the pause is really important information, a really important technique, I think, for right now, in addition to moving into that witness observer mode. Can I move a little bit more into neutral, still allow my emotions to have space around me, but not become attached to them in a way that then I've created deeper conflict with this other person? Taking deep breaths, as silly as that might sound, can be really helpful. A lot of times we can tell how activated our nervous system might be based on our breath and breathing pattern. When we start to get into that really accelerated breath, our heart's beating, we might even notice that we're starting to talk faster. We become more animated, right? All of these are signs that we are becoming emotionally polarized in some way. Again, this is not a bad thing. It's very natural. But if we can watch it, we can maybe ratchet down that experience a little bit, regulate the nervous system, take a few breaths, and get curious. Another one of my favorite tips. How can we just simply become curious about what's happening around us? That curiosity, by its very nature, does not carry attachment. Attachment is what creates this pain around conflict or confusion. Additionally, on here on my YouTube channel, I have a no talking Reiki healing for peace and joy. So this might be a really nice one as well to watch in those moments where things are feeling a little bit activated. I also have a grounding meditation here on YouTube. I'll put links to these here in the description so you can find those in those moments that you need to find that calm and that center. I also have a zipper meditation, which allows you to kind of unzip your energetic system, open it up, and clear all of that gunk out. All of these moments in life are opportunities for growth. And if we can see them as an opportunity to maybe learn something about ourselves, learn something about a different viewpoint, we are in extremely polarizing times. When we make things wrong, we create more polarity. Polarity really is just, it's just a pointer, right? It's just a big flashing red sign that says, hey, something's going on here that I need to look at. The more that we polarize things, the more that that light is trying to flash on something. A lot of times we get lost in the polarity rather than looking at, okay, what's the lesson here? What am I trying to be taught in this situation? A lot of times when we can move into that, the situation shifts or morphs and changes entirely. Another theme I've been seeing a lot of is the theme of rejection. Rejection is such a challenging earthly theme. It's one of the things that we experience from the moment that we're actually born. In a way, being born, leaving the mother's body is its own type of rejection. It is the first experience we have in this third dimension of being separate. Most of the other dimensions do not include these physical incarnations. And so as a result, there's a much less of a sense of separateness. There's a stronger sense of unity. And it's one of the things that we come down here to learn when we come into these bodies is, what does it feel like to be contained? For my energy to be separate naturally from all of the beings around me, simply because my body creates a separate container from your body. Of course, on a larger energetic sense, we are all connected, we are all united, and that is part of the balance that we are experiencing when we come down here into this reality. But as a result of that, rejection is a part of separateness. It's a part of being in our own container where we learn who we are and who other people are. There's that wonderful statement that rejection is simply redirection, right? So when something is trying to exit out of our lives, it's a really nice sign that it is maybe, probably almost certainly not for us anymore. We have attached direct redirection and rejection with our ego and our self-worth. When we can learn that we are valuable simply for who we are and not what we do, that starts to reorient ourselves to our value not being about are we being chosen or picked by other people, but are we choosing ourselves? And we have a lot of work to do in choosing ourselves. There is more than enough work to be done on a daily basis of tapping into how do I choose the way that I love myself, the food that I put in my body, the way I move my body joyfully, the connections that I made, the things that I listen to and consume. Are they uplifting me and are they putting me in a place where I can care more deeply for myself? And that place, who chooses us or doesn't choose us, becomes a whole lot less important because we are learning to choose ourselves. Most of our upbringings were the exact reverse. Everything that we learn societally pretty much says that if you're popular and people like you have a lot of value. And we are, I think, right now in some times where we're really trying to adjust and reverse that so that we can say, hey, if I like myself, then naturally I'm going to attract people into my life that also see my value. If I don't see my value, I'm going to attract a lot of people that don't see my value either, right? We really are creating extreme mirrors for ourselves in the way we move through the world. This coming Sunday, June 1st, actually, I'll be releasing a new Reiki healing transmission for ancestral healing because a lot of this topic around rejection comes from our ancestry. We are a nation of immigrants. We were naturally rejected or chose to be rejected out of places of plight and difficulty to come here. As a result of that, that theme is very strong in most of us if you are here in the United States. If you are in other parts of the world, your ancestry may be carrying other issues that are connected to rejection. So hopefully this Reiki healing transmission that's coming out on June 1st, which is Sunday tomorrow, the day after I'm recording this video, hopefully will be helpful. The last piece of information I want to share from my collective read of the energy this week is about alignment and paying attention to signs from the universe. A lot of times we are speeding so quickly through our lives that we are not paying attention to the signs that are happening around us. So another really helpful energy tip, practicing the pause just as we move through the way that we live our lives. Are we slowing down from time to time? There's that wonderful trope about stopping to smell the roses, but it's actually really time-honored valued wisdom. Can we take a moment to sit and take in and look what's around us? I just had a birthday yesterday. I had a birthday party at my home, and I'm blessed to live somewhere where I have these gorgeous sunsets in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I take them so deeply for granted. And yet, having all of my friends over for a gathering last night, and everybody was looking at the sunset, and I was thinking to myself, "Gosh, I have this glorious, beautiful view in front of me every single night, and I miss it more nights than not because I'm so busy doing other things." And that's not shaming or judging myself. It was just a really beautiful reflection on the fact that I am probably not taking enough time to stop and look at these beautiful signs and symbols that are all around us in nature. The universe is trying to talk to us all the time. Our guides, our angels, our loved ones on the other side are trying to be in deep communication with us. Most of the time, we are just zooming too quickly to notice that, and then we feel very deeply alone. So is it possible to slow down a little bit in the next couple of days that you're moving through your life? Look up at the sky, look down at the ground, look in your periphery. Most of us spend 90% of our time simply looking straight ahead. Yet we have this wonderful peripheral vision for a reason. It's where a lot of our intuition is actually created, in the things that we think we can't see, that we think aren't there, but actually are. as a result of this slowing down and getting these messages from the universe, we actually can tap into alignment. Alignment is what gets us flow. Flow gets us feeling really good in our lives. We talk a lot in this, kind of metaphysical, energetic world of being in flow state. Flow state comes from being in alignment. When we are misaligned, we get less flow. It's actually a really simple concept, much harder to enact and actually move through. Flow comes from alignment. Alignment means that our actions, our words, our choices align with the things that we say that we want. So if we're saying we want whatever your intention setting might be, whatever your goals might be, whatever your dreams and wishes are, it's a really simple exercise to simply write those things down. And then over the course of days, weeks, months, take a look at, are my actions really aligning with what it is that I say that I want? When I say this is hard to do, it really is, because most of us will go, well, yeah, I really want that, but then I also really want to feel this way right here, right now, right? But if I want to feel this way right here, right now, that takes me away from this thing that I'm saying that I want, right? And so we can adjust those things so that our choices, our actions, our words more easily align with the things that we say that we want. It's really important to not do this from a rigid place. When we do this really rigidly, that also kind of creates the counter to flow because our whole system tightens up, right? So perhaps a goal is to move our bodies more over the course of a week, right? A lot of us live very sedentary lifestyles. So maybe a goal is I'd like to move my body, and feel better in the way my physical body feels. Well, one of the ways we could do that in extreme is to go, okay, well, every morning I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. and I'm going to get on the treadmill and I'm going to run for an hour every single day. And then at nighttime, I'm going to do, 300 sit-ups. And, we make these very extreme decisions or ideas around reaching a particular goal or intention. And part of what happens with that is become very difficult to actually do those things. But then our body also feels the tightness in that. And that tightness releases flow. So perhaps an easier way of looking at that would be, my intention is to move my body joyfully once a day, however that might look. How, even if it's a silly wiggling, 5-minute movement that may look really weird to everybody else, but it feels good to me and my body. And that is an action that can align with where we want to go much more simply, much more easily, and much more gracefully with compassion for ourselves. So when we are trying to enter into that flow state, it's just an observation going back to the very beginning of the themes for this week. How can we just become more aware of where I can create deeper flow, deeper manifestation by really just double checking, am I in alignment in this moment? And if I'm not, no worries, no judgment, no shame, but can I make some small, little tiny tweaks or adjustments to get into better flow? Yogic practices are a great way of experiencing this. A lot of the yoga asanas are achieved much more greatly with tiny little small tweaks that we do really internally inside of our systems that can create these beautiful feelings and emotions that come out of the yoga asanas that have nothing to do with, did I get into the pose, right? Or did I get into the asana? That's not really what it's about, right? It is what was the alignment that was required inside of me to actually feel this shape in my body. So just a few things there to share with you all for this week's energy update. As always, questions, comments, anything you would like to leave in the comment section here. Love to read and receive those and respond to those. Otherwise, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification. If you like this video, would love to receive a like as well. And otherwise, sending you all so much love and brightest blessings.